Aclú is a research collaboration between clinicians like myself on the ground and researchers in MTU. So it's a collaboration that looks at providing kind of evidence-based interventions for people with severe and enduring mental illness to manage their physical health, in particular their physical activity and their nutrition.
There's been a lot of new research lately in the field of mental health, and some of it is offering real hope for improved health outcomes for people living with mental health difficulties. The new research is very much in the area of lifestyle intervention, so looking at physical activity, nutrition, and digital technologies, and how combinations of intervention that look at these things can improve health outcomes for people with mental health conditions. So that brings real hope for people.
So Aclú came about really because I suppose one of the real challenges for people with severe and enduring mental illness is maintaining their physical health. We know that generally they die between 10 and 15 years earlier than their peers, and we really wanted to look at that and how we might support them.
One of the main challenges to supporting people living with severe mental health conditions is our general approach to treatment. In majority of so-called Western countries, we have very much focused on mental health separately from physical health. But this is not the best approach. We see that people live in one body with head and body together. So we need to find more holistic approach where diet, exercise, stress management all come into play.
So the PhD students in Aclú are looking at how physical activity, nutrition, and digital technology can improve the outcomes for that person.
Aisling has developed an app, and that's been put in place in the community residences where people can access really simple, accessible information on how to be more active and less sedentary.
We created a digital physical activity web-based application that has a load of different physical activities on it, as well as an educational side of physical activity for them. The aim is to increase their physical activity and increase their digital literacy and digital knowledge. We spoke to individuals with lived experience of a mental illness and their clinicians living within these settings, and we co-designed the toolkit into a digital web-based application based on their opinions on what worked, what didn't work. I'd give the service user the tablet, I'd help them navigate the tablet, pick out an activity that they would like to do, and then I'll do the physical activity with them. I always explain it like it's a physical activity dictionary. So you can go in, you can select what activity you want to do, you can do an individual activity. The group games then could be donkey. It's just giving them an option of different physical activities to choose from. A lot of the feedback was very positive and they were really happy, they really enjoyed it and they really did engage very well with it.
Over the last 10 years, we built a lot of evidence linking quality of diet to mental health outcomes, showing that people who tend to eat healthier have much better mental health outcomes and greater opportunities to decrease the risk for developing common mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety than people who don't consume enough of these goodies, these healthful foods.
There are lots of apps and lots of information that are very generic about how to eat healthily and what that looks like. But for somebody with a severe enduring mental illness who is taking antipsychotic medications, that needs to be quite tailored and very different, and that information isn't really accessible.
The first stage of my research was a behaviour analysis where we observed nutrition behaviours in 4 high support hostels in Ireland. In every hostel, the food was provided for them. The meals weren't the worst, they were okay. They just were lacking fruit and veg. There was a lack of water intake as well and a big intake of tea and coffee throughout the day. From what I saw, a few small things would make a huge difference. So I think just getting the service users involved in prepping in the kitchen and learning about growing food out in the gardens, because a lot of them would have gardens as well. So just trying to get them involved in the preparation for food would make a huge difference in their eating habits. From this, we're going to develop and design a digital nutrition intervention for this population. with just a bit of nutrition education and tips on how to make simple recipes, how to grow their own fruit and veg, and then use it in the kitchen for food preparation. We're going to be using a co-design approach. So this approach is just going to be involving the service users to develop the digital nutrition intervention with us. This is very important just to make sure that the app is user-friendly, relevant, and developed to the unique needs of this population.
Our hope ultimately with Aclú is to scale that and to use the outcomes of the research to impact national policy and national practice. We know that the research that we're doing aligns with the human rights calls for action for holistic care. We know that some of the clinicians operating in this space have already seen in their own practice that this practice of physical activity, nutrition and digital can have an impact. But we do need to build the research evidence a bit more, and we do need then to make sure that the outcomes of that research impact the outcomes that patients can receive as a result of their treatment and care in a positive way. And that's what we're continuing to focus on.